What's happening, y'all?
Or not Facebook, you're Instagram.
I'm on YouTube and Facebook over here.
Yep.
How's everybody doing?
Rigel, close the door, please.
Rigel, come here. He has figured out doorknobs.
He had figured out doorknobs a while back, but
He's
only
figured out
the
locks.
long ones, only the ones that you can grab like that. He hasn't figured out the knob ones, but he just figured out how to unlock the door as well. So there's that.
Yeah. It's going to get crazy up in here. Anyways, how's everybody doing today? You want up? I'll pick you up. Come here, buddy.
Today we are talking about feeding your family healthier and grocery tips.
Yes.
I feel like this will be another one of mine because I do the grocery shopping.
I do a lot of grocery shopping.
When?
I do a lot of grocery shopping. I mean, I know how to grocery shop. Like, how many videos do you have? That was our date, was grocery shopping.
I know. It's just been a long time since you fed a family with grocery shopping.
Can you angle that one a little bit more so it's there? Not. I want you in there still too, though.
It's hard to do that.
There we go. All right, so let's talk about healthy tips in grocery shopping for a family. Where do you want to start? You want to start?
All right, let's just start with feeding your family. A lot of people, I have had a lot of clients in my coaching life that will say something like, I was doing really great and was totally on point, and then I ate some of my kids' food.
Yeah.
And I think it's not the problem of then I ate my kids' food. It's the fact that their kid was eating something totally different than what the parent was eating. And however, they might be like working on like a weight loss goal or something like that. But the foods that you are eating to lose weight, the foods you are eating to gain lean mass, the foods that you are eating to be a healthy human should be the same foods that your children are eating to also be a healthy human. I do recognize those parents that have maybe older kids or have kids that have been adjusted to eating a certain way before you chose your healthier lifestyle. But as you're making transitions into your healthier lifestyle, start incorporating those things for them as well. If your kids are used to mac and cheese, don't make a mac and cheese replacement. Make a delicious, cheesy option and don't call it mac and cheese because it's never going to taste the same as mac and cheese. But stop offering the mac and cheese and say like, oh, we don't have mac and cheese right now, but I can make this cheesy option. Like whatever, you put it on cauliflower rice, you put it, I don't know, what do people do? Like if you want to make a grilled cheese sandwich, instead of using bread, use a chaffle and then put the cheese in it just like you would normally do. There are different options, a lot of which we don't really indulge in because we don't have kids that are quite that old yet, but we definitely will come up with like more fun recipes and things like that as the kids are wanting different fun options. But I think that feeding the family healthier should be focusing on meat as your base. There's so many families out there that like will pick like 1 pound of ground beef for their entire family. And it's like shocking to me because like that's Robert's dinner,
That's half of my dinner.
And I totally get too, like being on a budget. I would just focus your energy on meat being the primary source of the food for the entire family. And then if you choose to eat vegetables, I like vegetables, Rigel eats vegetables, Robert eats a little bit less vegetables, then I would choose a vegetable side or something really fun off to the side. Like you can make like a fake, like I do like a cornbread sometimes, like when we do like a chili or a soup or something like that. Like I like to have like a little cornbread, but it's a keto made cornbread. But you can make things like that kind of replace something, like it's just an additional side, but it's a healthier alternative. But I think the easiest, best way is for your meat to be the base, whatever you decide to do. And then as far as grocery shopping goes,
can I say some things?
I guess I haven't gotten to the grocery shopping part.
We're breaking it up into parts, right?
Okay. Feeding the family.
Feeding the family. Okay.
Don't go to the grocery shopping part yet.
All right, I won't talk about grocery shopping yet. Here's the thing. A lot of people ask me about what do you eat when you're cutting versus when you're building.
Yeah, that's good.
And oftentimes your kids are not in cutting or building phases, which would, if you look at through that lens, mean that they're eating something different than you when you have a specific health goal, whether that be cutting or building. The thing is, I eat the exact same things whether I am building or cutting. Yep. The food stays the same, the quantities and how I partition them out and the frequencies change. Mm-hmm. The quality food that I'm consuming is the same foods throughout the entire year, regardless of the goal. And I would advocate for, if health optimization is the goal, then you're eating the same quality foods that you're ideally giving your kids as well. Kind of like Crystal was saying, they shouldn't really be eating something different. Like if you're not going to eat pureed pumpkin cucumber juice with flour and honey during a building or cutting phase, then it doesn't really make sense for your kid to be eating that either. And realistically, a kid should always be in a building phase, unless they're morbidly obese, in which case they should never get there.
Rapidly growing.
Yeah, they shouldn't really be in that position anyways. By the way, we just published a Keto Brick blog all about eating healthier for kids, which is kind of relevant with this Live at 5 topic. But all that to say, there shouldn't really be much of a contrast between a building and cutting phase. You may choose to eat foods that are easier to track, that are easier to manipulate, which makes total sense. Like it's easier to manipulate the intake of ground beef than it is like a casserole or something like that consistently over time. But you shouldn't have different foods whether you're in a building or cutting phase, and therefore you shouldn't have different foods for yourself and your kids. And if you're eating quality food, you should be advocating that they eat quality foods. So eating what your kids eat should never really be a legitimate excuse, in my opinion. I mean, Rigel eats the exact same thing I eat. Like, it's kind of crazy. He eats the exact same things I eat.
He probably eats better than me because he eats like more organs and stuff than I do.
Yeah, he eats bricks. He eats bacon. He eats eggs. He eats yogurt. He eats steak. He eats liver.
Chili, like ground beef. Like, he really likes everything.
He's going to dump all those carbs out.
Can I have that, baby?
You knew that's what you were about to do too, didn't you? You knew that's what you were about to do too. Yeah, let that be something there. Also, I totally get that your kids are probably not going to be tracking their macros as strictly as you, and they shouldn't be. They probably shouldn't be. And it's easy to want to enjoy time with them and indulge in foods with them. But if that is in contrast to your goals, then I wouldn't advocate for that either. You can certainly make it work within your goals, especially if you are eating the same foods, which ideally you are, but don't let your kids be a scapegoat. I don't ever recommend that.
Yeah, I will say that there can be, especially if you're on a weight loss goal, there is a divide there when you're, say, a mom and you have, or a dad, but you're on a weight loss journey and you're really trying to gear your wording and how your kids view food and how your kids view you eating food and things like that. So there are kind of tricky ways to doing that as well. Like, if you make a whole bunch of chicken for dinner, before you put the sauce on or whatever that you can't really,
track accurately.
Then just make your plate. Just make your plate, weigh it out before they get into the dining room or whatever. Just do it in the kitchen while you're making everything. Put everything on your plate, weigh out the sauce or whatever. And if you have a little helper in your kitchen, then, try and get them occupied while you do your weighing or whatever. I do understand that aspect of things and really trying to preserve your kids' awareness of tracking food and not letting that become a hindrance, to them as they're growing. But there are little sneaky ways of being able to kind of track this and that. And I think for parents, it's easier to choose just a meat rather than making like a casserole or a soup or something like that, like that's all mixed and mashed together. While you're trying to track things, you can make chicken thighs and then you can weigh your chicken thighs. You can make steak and you can weigh your steak. You can make burgers and you can weigh your burger. You can make a thing of like a ground beef, like taco bowl or something, but you can still weigh your ground beef. So I think making your proteins separate from the toppings is a really, really good way of doing that if you're trying to keep track of your stuff while you're feeding your family as well. Should I go into grocery shopping? All right, so grocery shopping, tips for grocery shopping. So Robert and I have been really big on this lately, and not everyone has the opportunity to do this. You usually need some sort of large freezer, but we've been buying our meat locally raised. We've bought lamb, pig, we've bought some beef, chicken, like all locally. We stopped buying it from the grocery store. So we have all of that for ourselves, and a lot of times it is cheaper, even for the quality stuff, the organic, the pasture raised, the whatever. It's usually cheaper still to get it directly from the person.
Close that.
Directly from the person who is raising these animals. So we've been doing a lot of that. You do have to buy in bulk. So if you are used to buying your groceries, like putting aside money to buy your groceries every month, that's what I usually do. I have a budget for the entire month. And it's harder in the beginning when you're transitioning to doing this because you're going to spend a bulk amount of money on that meat, and then you'll kind of get used to doing that.
Right. I said no.
You're going to get used to doing that because you'll have that chunk of money. As long as you're continually setting it aside, you'll have that chunk of money to then buy a half a cow or buy a lamb or buy whatever already butchered. And then with the other groceries, I usually try to buy when things are on sale. I usually just buy more and keep it on the shelves in the pantry or whatever, so that I do have a back stock and it's on sale. And then I usually buy the same things over and over and over again. And usually when I buy the same things over and over and over again, I'm saving money because I'm not specifically looking at all of the other items around the grocery store. Kind of just have my basics. Honey, I'll pick you up in a minute. So kind of sticking to the same things, like knowing exactly what brand and what kind you like will really save you from like a wandering eye. And sometimes I go to the grocery store just to have a wandering eye, but knowing like I'm probably going to spend a little extra money today. So I think that also saves me a lot because I'll just walk in, get the things that I'm used to, and then go. And then also making a grocery list and only allowing yourself to buy those things. Like that's the best way of doing it. If you want to spend money, take Robert with you. When you take Robert to the grocery store, you will spend way more money. It's just the way it works.
A couple things on grocery stores. All right, so I just posted a link in the YouTube and Facebook. I don't know how to post a link on Instagram with this, but there's a couple reasons we don't shop at big box grocery stores. One, and the main reason, is that the quality of the nutrition is oftentimes subpar, especially if you're getting it at like a big box grocery store like Walmart or something. Like the quality of the meat you're going to get there is just not as good as the quality of the meat you're going to get elsewhere. The highest quality is what you raise yourself or harvest from hunting. Obviously, not everybody can do that, which I totally understand and respect. I don't ever want to play the holier than thou card and be like, I eat this, so everybody should eat this. However, the links that I just posted talked about some of the chemicals and some of the things that are oftentimes found in meats, especially ground meats, mechanically separated meats, like different chemicals designed to remove some of the pathogens in there, but then you're just consuming the chemicals. So that's obviously not good. But on a whole nother level, totally independent of the quality of the nutrition and the absence or presence of chemicals, is what is happening to our food supply and what is happening to our community of local farmers and ranchers. The videos that I just posted kind of talk about some of the behind the scenes backstory about what is happening when we support these big box retailers, grocery stores like the Krogers, Walmarts, Harps of the world. They're all paying pennies on the dollar for that meat. A lot of it is getting imported from other countries. some of which is quality, a lot of which is not, but it's basically driving the dollar and the value of that meat down to the point where a lot of these local farmers and ranchers cannot even stay in business because there's just no margins for them. So we're basically hamstringing our food supply and, suffering the livelihood and well-being of these local farmers and ranchers, which is obviously not a good thing. So from an ethical standpoint alone, we choose not to shop at a lot of these big box grocery stores for its impact on our food supply and local farmers and ranchers. So again, I don't ever want to play the holier than thou card, but that's one of the reasons we're really motivated to get into the homesteading and just being self-sufficient and plugging into our local community and sourcing meat from them. Plus, the quality is always way better. The flavor is way better. It's kind of like craft beer. Like I've never been a brewery guy, but like when you make your own beer, you can like tease out certain flavors, certain hops, certain protocols. The same is true with quality meat. Like if you're getting it from a quality local source, it's going to taste different based off of what they're feeding it, what the livelihood of that animal was like, what the welfare of the animal. I mean, there's just so many things that go into what you consume, and we all eat food daily. So it stands to reason that we should make it a priority. And if you have extra money to spend that towards quality food as opposed to a flat screen TV or a gaming system or nonsense you don't really need. All right, there's my little rant on that.
Okay. Hey, I just started carnivore. Is 3 pounds of meat plus fat okay?
I have no idea what your stats are.
Yeah, it's hard to know unless we know, like female, male, how tall are you? What are your goals?
How much muscle
protein
do you have?
are you going to get? Do you need to get in all that? Yeah, it just kind of really depends. But I mean, 3 pounds of meat sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. TM says, hi, what's up, TM? MC says, hey, Robert, do you follow Cole Robinson? He talks a lot about keto diet and shouts you out. I do know who Cole Robinson is. I don't know if I follow him or not. I think I do. I see some of his stuff for sure. I don't really get on Instagram and consume much content, but I definitely know Cole Robinson. Hopefully when he shouts me out, he says positive things. If so, appreciate it, Cole. Thanks, brother. Keep shouting me out, man.
Hey from Cincinnati. We got a hey. Nice shirt.
I think you got us this shirt. Dumbbells.
Dumbbells, deadlifts, and diapers.
It's kind of hard to read upside down and backwards.
What's up, Savage fam? No junk in the house, problem solved. That's true. It is hard. Like you can't really control all the time when your kids are out of the house, but you can control what is in your house. Even if it's a hard transition, it's going to be a hard transition for a little bit, and then it'll get easier. And
one thing that we've done, not that we've had many opportunities for Rigel to be outside of our home with other people, like none really. But one thing we will do is rather than trying to like burden somebody that is watching your kids or, put all the responsibility on them or trying.
He can't eat this. He can't eat that.
Yeah. Just like pack food for them and then tell them that he is definitely allergic to everything that's not in that packed food.
I don't ever say that he's allergic. Robert always says, tell me if they're allergic. I'm like, I'm not going to tell him they're allergic to life. But
people make it easy for people.
I do say, like, if we go to a Bible study, if it's like 1 hour long, like, hey, he's not allowed to eat anything. He's not allowed to eat or drink anything unless it's from this bottle, because I just don't, like, I know the other kids are going to be snacking and I say we really are aware of what he eats.
Yeah.
And
they don't mean any harm by it, obviously.
No.
But they just don't, like, if you don't know, you don't know. Yeah. And you can't accept or expect them to know. You have to accept responsibility for your own kids and take that on. And if you want them to eat a certain way, then you have to enable others to make that easy for them.
And too, like, if you're going to like a birthday party or something like that, if your kids are old enough to make their own decisions on, do I want to feel like junk or not, then let them make their own decisions and feel like junk. But if you are trying to keep an eye on things, or like, I will not allow dyes. I don't even care how old he is. You're not going to eat dyes. Then bring some, bring some, ask the person who's putting on the party, just say, hey, you don't even have to say, I don't allow dyes, but just say, hey, we're pretty particular about, some of the things that we do allow in our sweets. Would you be okay if I brought extra cupcakes for everyone or something like that. Who's going to say no to extra food, like extra free food? You know, what are you doing? So that's what I would do. And hopefully the person is willing to accept that, or, or just bring it for your kid. And when it's time to have cake or whatever, they have their own. And they might be seen as the weird kid, but I bet you there's a bunch of kids with different allergies and all different kinds of things these days that are going to have the same issues. What?
How sweet he is right now, putting his arms
sweet.
around me. You hugging me, buddy? I love you. Watch this. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. He's giving kisses now. But he's got to give one to both of us. He gives one to one, which is good, I suppose. All right. Any other questions? Anything else we need to cover?
He's going to give you guys kisses. He said,
Anything else we need to cover on this topic?
No.
You all have any other questions? Open table right now. Open floor. Otherwise, we're going to get this munchkin home and get him some food in his belly. All good food, of course. Where's your belly? Where's your belly? There's your belly.
You're cute.
Why are you so cute, buddy? We're getting lambs this weekend, though.
Yeah.
We're finishing the fence this weekend. Then we're getting lambs. So we're going to have our own lambs, which I'm super excited about. And we have some other exciting livestock, but I'm not allowed to tell y'all about it yet, apparently.
No.
Definitely not allowed to tell. All right, y'all. Well, that will be a wrap. We're going to get this guy some food, and we will see y'all next time. Thank y'all for tuning in. Much love. Ta-ta for now.
Toodaloo.
Not cows, but good guess. Good guess.
Say no, yes. That's how people weed it out.
I can't say no, yes? Okay.